Hey guys, welcome to my new channel called Why. Today we're going to be playing a game called Maginary. It is an interactive fictional book. And yeah, let's get started. This book belongs to Why. Okay, I guess I can't put just one letter. Okay, that works. Please return it to her if you find it. Chapter 1. Welcome to Onzo. For one of the main characters of this book, it all happened at the beginning of January. To be even more precise, it began at the very moment that she turned to the next page of the book, which she had downloaded earlier from the App Store. Even then, she suspected that the book would be unusual, and the next phrase that she read conclusively confirmed her suspicions. Why was reading a book in which she was one of the main characters. From now on, we'll call her Y for short. Good, because that's what I wanted to put in the first place. The story in the book moved along just like in real life, only forward. That meant that Y couldn't return to the past, to the previous page. Every page could only be read once, but of course the book didn't expect Y to take it at its word, which is why it suggested that she try to turn back to the previous page, just to make sure that it was absolutely okay. I'll try to turn the book back. Nothing left of the old text. Suddenly, there's a really loud clap, and something strange started happening with the text. It began to fall into small pieces, disappear, and go under, and back at the top, the new text had already appeared in place of the old one. Actually, it looked like some kind of digital hallucination. It seemed that the text was broken, the words were difficult to read, and the letters continued to shake, serving as the only reminder that something had actually happened. Nothing had actually happened. At the next moment, perception was torn between the images that appeared. They interrupted each other, sending cascades of connotations that filled the woman's imagination at lightning speed. Okay. Finally, the flow of images stopped. The emptiness began to fill both the reader's perception and the book page. From now on, these two entities were interlinked into the single whole, a canvas for the unfolding story. Finally began the story. What's going on? The silence was pierced by a sleepy male voice. Where am I? Why froze in confusion? She just couldn't figure out what was happening and who was talking. She really did hear a voice, but it seemed to be coming from somewhere inside her mind. I heard the hollow steps, the booming clank of metal, and then the same voice exclaimed, "And what is this?" Hey, the man called out. His call took off for the horizon, carried by an echo. Is there anyone here? I didn't get a chance to hear the rest of the question. Her attention shifted from the sound to the image that she saw in her mind. She saw the night sky and the clouds sweeping by, the pale moon that lit the perfectly round meadow inside the tall coniferous forest. The meadow was bordered by prickly juniper shrubs, creating a wall that was too high, but was very solid. Right in the corner of the meadow stood a man of about 30, who was dressed rather inadequately for a walk in the forest. He was wearing boxers and a t-shirt with an image of a sleeping Batman. The only other thing that he was wearing were his glasses, and even through their lenses, I could clearly see the stranger's frightened brown eyes. Large drops of sweat trickled down his expansive forehead and fell on the strange object he was holding in his hands, which looked like a medallion. The man's name... Is this supposed to be sweat? The man's name was Michael Sterry. Just a few hours ago, he had fallen asleep at his home in the British town of Ipswich? I don't know how to pronounce that, sorry. But when he came to his senses, he was in the center of the meadow, clutching the medallion. Michael looked at it, squinting as if trying to remember something. Wait, it's a prank, right? He yelled hopefully, peering into the surrounding thicket. You planted this trinket on me and think that I'll believe that somebody is reading a story about me now? His memory finally began to come back. Michael remembered about a week ago he had come across a strange book called Maginary. Its main character was a Marine named Jeremy. If the story was to be believed, Jeremy had once also read this book, until he woke in a parallel world that could only be escaped with the help of a medallion, just like the one that Michael was holding now. Michael smirked in disbelief and spoke again to the unfriendly thicket. Okay, fine, very funny. I bet it's all your idea, Lisa, as you were the only one who heard about this book from me. With those words, he rushed into the prickly shrubs and disappeared. But literally 1 second later, he emerged from the opposite side of the meadow. What the hell? When I saw that Michael was no longer smirking, he was alarmed now. He rushed into the shrubs once again, but simply re-emerged on the other side of the meadow. This went on for a while. Michael would disappear into the juniper fence, only to emerge once again, scratched all over with dry twigs. The meadow, on the other hand, remained the same, save for the insects that were disturbed by Michael's foray into the thicket. Glowworms? Following several unsuccessful attempts to escape the trap, Michael stopped and, breathing heavily, announced, I am dreaming. That's right, dreaming. He wanted to pinch himself, but the fresh scratches were proof enough that everything that was happening to him wasn't a dream. That could only mean one thing. Michael's chin began to tremble. He raised the hand that was still clutching the medallion and looked at it in horror, as if it was a very expensive bill in a restaurant. Closing his eyes, Michael began to mutter in a tense voice. This is completely insane. But what if it's not? Let's imagine that somebody really is reading Then if I do this... He began to shake the medallion with all his strength. It vibrated. At that moment, the book in Y's hand trembled as well. Michael stopped and anxiously peering into the surface of the medallion said, I can't believe that I'm saying this, but if anybody is actually reading about me and felt something just now, this medallion broadcasts what's happening with me straight into your head through that damn book. They are connected in some strange way, so if you hear me, please give me a sign. I don't know, shake the book or something like that. Michael fell silent and closed his eyes. He was gripping the medallion so tightly that the knuckles of his fingers had turned white. In her mind, Y realized that it would be nothing short of strange to comply with a request from a character in a book, but at the same time, she wanted to believe Michael. Okay, so I'm going to shake the book, aka my phone. Y shook the book, and the medallion in Michael's hand immediately began to vibrate. Having felt that, Michael began to slowly shake his head from side to side, as if refusing to believe what was happening. This cannot be. Cannot. He was distracted from his pursuit by a noise coming from the shrubs. Michael turned around, took a closer look, and suddenly discovered that somebody else was in the juniper thicket. A second later, a hand reached out from the shrubs, followed by a head, and then the body of a very tall man. The man himself resembled a sickly and warped oak tree, from which hung shreds of bark, the dirty rags that used to be the stranger's clothes. He unintelligibly muttered something to himself, and now and then emitted sounds similar to the bellowing of a cow. cassette tape. Michael felt as if he was hearing it through a thick layer of cotton. To tell you the truth, I'm not sure I know what you mean, Michael stammered, petrified. The man blinked several times, took a silent step towards Michael. The moonlight, having broke through the tree canopy, dimly lit a horrible scar on his face. The scar was certainly not his most striking feature. In the darkness, Michael and Y had failed to notice something else that was rather frightening. The man had completely black eyeballs. The rest of his facial features looked blurry, as if they were deliberately fading away, so that neither Y nor Michael was able to get a good look at them. Michael felt his knees go weak, but amazed by his own bravery, tried to make conversation. Listen, maybe you can help me. I woke up here with this thing in my hand. Michael held up the medallion, but immediately regretted this move. After seeing the object glistening in the moonlight, the man seemed to go mad. He attacked Michael, and before he could get out of the way, snatched the medallion from his hands. That was followed immediately by a pop. Whoa. That scared me, similar to the one that had woken Michael up, and the man was tossed into the air, while the medallion flew into the dense grass. Michael, who had spent his childhood fending off his older brothers, had already stuck out his fists, ready for the man's next attack. But this seemed unnecessary, as the man was moving. Jeez, Michael breathed out. He tried to get his nerves under control. One thing was obvious. This cycle also needed the medallion. Something told Michael that he shouldn't wait until this unfriendly stranger came to his senses. Michael got down on all fours and desperately began searching for the medallion. That proved difficult. The grass was dense, and it was impossible to see where the medallion had dropped. Michael was close to panic when it suddenly dawned on him, and he yelled, "Hey you, with the book. You can use it to influence this damned medallion. Do you hear? They are connected somehow. Make it shine. I know for certain that it can shine." Okay. What is this thing? Grass? Grass? Dense grass? Really tall cane. Okay, so I need to make it shine? How do I do that? Nope. Did that do anything? Oh, okay. Finally. At last, Y did her job, and the meadow was illuminated with the glow of the medallion. Michael immediately rushed to pick it up, and Y noticed that it wasn't the medallion itself that was glowing, but an engraving of sorts that looked like a capital letter Y. "Why?" said Michael pensively, then added, speaking into the medallion, "I don't know your full name, but thank you." He turned the medallion over and saw a different and more elaborate engraving. It resembled a map with a dot marked in the center. The map had a sign, which clearly denoted the name of the territory, Anza. Below the map, he saw a bunch of numbers, 4953. Okay, I just tried to turn the page, and now the numbers are melting. Okay. Now it says 4952. 4951. Studying them, Michael remembered when he read the book about Jeremy. The same numbers represented the hours and minutes. This meant that if he wanted to return home, he only had so much time to get to the point marked on the map, and only Y could help him with this. Having fully processed what was happening, Michael shook his head in disbelief. This must be some sort of mistake. He spoke to the medallion as if it was a living thing and could give him an answer. "I have no plans to survive and try to find my way around an unfamiliar area for 50 hours. Come on, take me home. I have a tortoise to feed. I'm sure Y has plenty of stuff to do too." "No, not really." He stopped talking, hoping that his words would work like a spell, but the medallion simply gave him an indifferent blank. Michael decided to put forward a different argument. "Listen, unlike that guy Jeremy, I'm not some marine or something. I'm a man of arts, you know. A screenwriter, a successful one," Michael lied. He worked as a movie critic in a local newspaper. On the other hand, he really did dream of becoming a screenwriter. It's been close to 5 years that he has been fussing over the only script he ever wrote, not daring to send it off to the Young Screenwriters competition. I am just getting to the next level. The words had a grain of truth to them. On the evening prior to his disappearance, with a day left to the latest deadline for that competition, he went home determined to finally send the ill-fated script, come what may. Actually, he couldn't put it off any longer for a simple reason. He was already 29, and the competition was only open to those under 30. Only yesterday Michael cut the sentence short because he had broken into a cold sweat. He hadn't sent the damn thing. He was so happy with finally making his decision that he decided to allow himself a little celebration with a bottle of red. After the first glass, he decided that since the Oh, that's really cool. It's like pouring a bottle of wine. After the first glass, he decided that since the deadline was still another day away, he could wait until the next morning to send it. Except that morning never came. The sudden discovery seriously pissed him off. Michael jumped up to his feet, flung the medallion to the ground and tried to kick it, but missed and instead bruised his pinky toe after hitting a log that was sticking out of the grass. Ouch. Oh. The phone vibrated. He bellowed with pain, and I could have sworn that she also felt a nagging pain in her little toe. I guess that's supposed to be what the vibration is. Michael once again snatched the medallion and began to pound it on the ground. Take me home, you bastard! Alas, his wrath and efforts were to no avail. The medallion had no plans to answer his pleas, and on top of that, Michael heard wheezing. He remembered the tall stranger who was starting to come around. Just the thought of once again hearing the stranger's scary, gurgling voice almost caused Michael to black out. He clutched his head, lost in thought, and then abruptly addressed the medallion as if afraid of changing his mind. Okay. Okay, fine, you win. Just tell me the way to get out of this. Is this a compass? To get out of this damned meadow. As he was completing the sentence, Michael suddenly noticed that M's initial was gone, and now the medallion surface showed a new image. The same image appeared on the book pages. Southeast, Michael read the letters that went from the medallion's center to its edge, as if they were a compass needle. Wait, the exit is to the southeast? How am I supposed to know where it is? The medallion in his hands blinked again, and the needle changed its direction. Although the letters remained the same, it happened at the same time as Y turned the page, pointing the book at a 105-degree angle. It took Michael several seconds to realize what that meant. Y, you have the compass, don't you? You can show me the direction using the book. That's what you did, right? Michael immediately tried to squeeze through the shrubs at the place that the arrow was pointing to, but he soon was back in the meadow. Okay, so I need to point this southeast, I'm assuming. Where is southeast? Let's try this way. Why turn the page with the book angled at 165 degrees? And the arrow and the medallion blinked again, directing Michael to the point in the juniper fence that could possibly provide with a safe exit. Michael once again went through the shrubs in the designated location and once again came out on the opposite side. Why? Can't you see where the arrow is pointing? Show me the direction. Well, I could see the picture. Now all she had to do was figure out where the actual southeast was. Okay, what about this way? Got it! Okay, that was it for chapter 1. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Come back next time for chapter 2. Bye.